Well, folks, I thought that was a screaming success. So we're going to make it harder. Come on over here. All right, now, reacting to the beep, I'm going to fire not one round, but two. So I'll make a couple examples for you. Watch my gun really closely. Don't worry too much about me.
Stand by.
All right,
not
so
impressive.
Yeah, so what we're going to ask you specifically is do not do what I'm doing here. So what I'm doing is I see the sight perfectly centered on the reference. I get the beep, press, center it up again, and then press again. We're going to make you fire 2 rounds here, but the second round is basically as fast as you can pull the trigger, and it is not tied to a sight picture. That means it's irrelevant what I'm seeing in front of me. I'm just going to pull the trigger the second time. So let me make an example of that.
Stand by.
All right, does it make sense to everybody? Like, we're forcing you to pull the trigger that way. Now, this is going to put a check on what you were just doing. So let me make a couple examples for you here.
What happened wrong there?
Yep.
Something different there. Yeah, man, 100 to 100. Punch that gun out, brother.
All right. So I've given you a few examples there of not too good. So as somebody pointed out, the round's tracking up. Typically, I'm just following the sight up in recoil instead of keeping my vision fixed here. What about over here? Hitting off to the left. Yeah, exactly. It's like, we understand, like, you are doing that with your hand. If it's right-handed people, typically left, low left, slightly left, whatever. It'll be like you are putting input into the gun from your hand. The idea is to be pulling the trigger fast and smooth without moving the gun to the side while you're doing that. Towards the end, I just clamped down my hand, and then I could not pull the trigger quickly because there's too much tension in my dominant hand, and that trigger freeze, we'd assess that as a mistake as well with too much dominant hand tension. All right, the idea of this exercise, again, this should be revealing to you what you're doing. It's more important to us that you shoot it in a way where it's like you do drive them a little bit to the side and you start to see that and understand it rather than not doing that at all. All right, make sense? So we're gonna pay attention here to how we're gripping the pistols. Walking up and down the line, we saw a lot of grips that need some help. So let's go through it. First, everybody's dominant hand that I saw looks like this on the pistol. Like, this is what I saw, hand high up in the back strap, hand wrapped around. As far as the position of your hands, it looks like this. Everybody gets this, pretty much a universal. What we want to pay attention to here is how much pressure with the hand. Now, how much pressure to use, I'd say, is enough to stay connected, meaning I'm holding onto the gun in such a way that the gun is not slipping on my hand. Like, it's not moving around inside of my grip. I can't do this. Like, when I'm holding the gun stays stuck to my fingers. With a 9mm pistol with this grip tape on it, how much force do you think that is? Yeah, it's like nowhere near as hard as I can hold. That's the key thing. It says I'm holding it hard enough that it's not going to move. I maintain the connection. You just have to understand, more force than that is not doing anything. Right? Most adult males, what I'd say is hold the gun as loose as you can force yourself to hold it with your dominant hand. Meaning, when we're shooting fast, like rapid fire, really getting on it, everybody, they tend to like tense up and fight the gun. And it's like pretty much as loose as you can force yourself to hold it, you're going to get a better outcome probably. Make sense? Yep. Yes, sir. All right, with the support hand, this one's trickier. We have to connect to the pistol, but you got to actually connect to the frame of the pistol. How hard I hold my hands here, this does nothing for me. Like, if I just grab onto my own hands, but I'm not touching the gun really, I've not got no connection to the pistol, and I almost might as well be shooting one-handed. Whereas, so you see here, there's like a gap in the frame as I turn it around. Like a little gap back there that I'm not touching. It's hard to see, but if I slide my hand back and actually make contact with the frame of the pistol, that's going to get me a better outcome. Now, a lot of people have it in their heads that higher up and maybe more forward is better. as far as the position of their hand. But to me, the key is how much surface area you make contact with. You're going to have more friction force and be able to hold the gun in place better. Does that make sense? So emphasize connecting. Don't worry about being high up on the gun. You'll see I'm holding the gun a little bit lower down here. And again, that's so I can connect to the actual frame. Now the other thing is once you're connected to the gun and holding it, this needs to not change. All right, so most people, as they're doing rapid fire, their dominant hand will tense up. Most people, when they're shooting fast, their support hand tends to loosen up. And then any other stuff you're doing, you tend to start doing it more. So meaning here, check out my thumbs. What do you see me doing with my thumbs? Floating. Yeah, so my thumbs float off the side of the gun. I'm not trying to do anything with them. And what I'm talking about here is consistency of input. So if you want to put pressure in with your thumb here from the side like this, that's fine. Okay. You could do that, but what I'd say is it has to be consistent. It should be this unchanging, it's the same amount of pressure in the same position and it doesn't change. I find that hard to do. I'm way better at doing nothing than I am at doing something. Consistently anyway. I can just consistently do nothing.
You're almost a pro at it.
Yeah, I am. Right, so for me, instead of trying to make my thumbs do the thing consistently every time, I just have them float off the gun. So I'm not putting in input like that I don't intend to. Yes?
Do you feel like thumb rests are building bad habits?
Depending on how they're set up. So probably most of them that I see I don't like. So it's a good example. On the 320s, they have the thumb rest that just takes the slide stop lever. Yeah. But it's so far forward that if a normal sized man has his thumb on that slide stop, they are not going to be connected properly on the frame. It's stuff like that is I think that shit's pointless. But the thumb rest, yeah, the same thing. It's put your thumb there. It's a help in terms of getting the same position every time, no doubt. But you have to. But if you're putting pressure on it, that has to be the same. All right. Anyway, this makes sense. As far as pay attention to your grip. What else here?
So things that we'll be looking at that we assess as bad for your grip is when you're shooting, if the gun moves around inside your hands. So for example, my firing hand stays on the gun, but my support hand doesn't really stay connected. So when the gun recoils, I see it separating from the top of my support hand. That would be a no-go. Or we'll see some of you shoot where you'll draw and kind of hold the gun one way, the gun will start to go off and you're oh. And then we'll see a change where you clamp down or adjust your grip. That'll be some of you guys. That'll be another thing to key in on. When you draw the gun, we want you to set the pressures you want before you start shooting. Or for the sake of this next drill we're gonna do, you're gonna be aimed at the targets, do that mental check. Yeah. Where I think of it as hold the gun or crush the gun, something like that, where you're having two different pressures, which is gonna be really tough to do because once you start shooting and the gun starts to go off, both hands will want to do the same thing. So if you're fighting with the trigger freeze, where you're not releasing the trigger, or you're gripping too hard with your firing hand, you're hey, relax my firing hand. Then your support hand will likely relax too. Then you think, hey, the gun's flipping around too much. I wanna clamp down, use my support hand more. Then sometimes your firing hand clamps down more also. It's gonna be really difficult. You're yeah, you know what's up. It's gonna be really tough to separate those two inputs and have two different levels of pressure with each hand.
All right. I know that's a lot, but questions?
2 shots on the beep.
So yes,
yep, beep, 2 shots. Yes, man, just cutting right to it. Yes, 2 shots on the beep.
Yep.